podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. The show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, March 14th, 2020. This is episode 1677. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast comes to you from Twit's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by SimpliSafe. SimpliSafe is everything you need in a home security system. With its award-winning protection, go to simplisafe.com/twit and save on home security now. And by LastPass. From access to authentication to passwords, LastPass manages every entry point to your business so you can mitigate risk while improving employee productivity. Visit lastpass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. And by Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile provides the same premium network coverage you're used to, but at a fraction of the cost because everything is online. Mint Mobile makes it easy to cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. Plus, you can get it shipped to your door for free at mintmobile.com/techguy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. You know what we're going to do today? We're not going to talk about anything bad. This will be a safe space. I don't need to tell you anything. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. I'm not going to tell you that Apple's closed all its stores worldwide except for China. I'm not going to tell you that. Although, that is a little strange, isn't it? 888-827. This is actually, you know, in my opinion, this is an opportunity for us to just kind of get together and I'm going to, you know, I could tell you that Comcast accidentally published 200,000 unlisted phone numbers of their customers. I could tell you that, but it would just upset you. Why should I upset you? I could tell you Google is not building a site for everybody to go to find out where they can get a test. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you that that there's a Chinese company that is building drones used to tell people to go back inside to spray disinfectants to take temperatures and to control traffic. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you Pokemon Go has adjusted their rules so you don't have to leave the house to play it. I won't say that. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Here's a great use. Oh, and the website, techguylabs.com. And they've all been sanitized for your protection. So please make yourself at home. Take advantage of that site. Open 24/7. Always there, just for you. This is a really interesting use of Minecraft. I've always been a fan of Minecraft. In fact, I run 3 Minecraft servers out of my house for my kid and his friends. Well, okay, maybe I have one of them. Maybe. I'm not saying, but maybe. And I just love Minecraft. Sometimes when I just want to relax, I don't want to think about the troubles of the day, I just go in there and I work on my house. I have this idea for a house, an architectural house that's built like a pyramid upside down. And in Minecraft, you can do that. You can build it just to see if it works, if it falls over. That's why I like Minecraft. And here's a really cool use of Minecraft from a group called Reporters Without Borders. As you know, all over the world, there are lots of places where the news is censored, where people can't find out what's really going on, and their governments block all the sites they might use to find out. News sites, but also Twitter and Facebook. But you know what? No country in the world blocks, at least until this story gets out, Minecraft. Nobody blocks it. Because that's cool. What's wrong with Minecraft? What could possibly go wrong with Minecraft? So Reporters Without Borders has built a Minecraft world It's actually beautiful. It's a massive virtual library, and it's got columns, and it's got a reflecting pool and trees. It's gorgeous. It's huge. They call it the Uncensored Library. 12.5 million Minecraft bricks. It took them a year and a half to build with a bunch of people. And it always blows me away when I see these incredible Minecraft builds. Like, wow, people are good. My upside-down house looks like a 5-year-old built it. But these things are like, they look like the Greeks built it, you know? And what they're doing is they're putting books in this library. Apparently in Minecraft, you can put books. I've never got around to that. I've been too busy building stairs. But you can put books with actual text in it. And what they're doing is putting stories that are censored around the world. For instance, there's an Egyptian news site that reports on corruption. It's been blocked for the last 3 years in Egypt. You'll find their content in this uncensored library. A blocked Russian site that reports on protests and activisms in this library. And the fiancé of the late Jamal Khashoggi, the journalist who was slaughtered by the Saudi Arabians, have republished his articles in the game. There's a whole memorial, a tribute to Khashoggi in here. The Uncensored Library. Is that cool? Uncensoredlibrary.com. If you play Minecraft, even if you don't, it's, you know, you download it and you can go to the server, or I've downloaded the files. I'm going to put it on my own server. Isn't that cool? And nobody blocks it. Because it's Minecraft. Okay, now, shh, don't tell anybody. We wouldn't want to get it to blocked or anything. Now I like that. That's a good use of technology. And it just kind of shows you that the internet will not, you know, it's like water. You can try to block it. And of course, authoritarian regimes always are trying to shut it down, and they don't like it because sometimes it tells the truth about those regimes. But the internet finds a way. It's kind of amazing. If you think about it, this, you know, a lot of people, I will mention this, a lot of people are, you know, self-isolating, quarantining, staying at home. Something we nerds do anyway. I mean, I'm happiest at sitting at home on my computer watching Netflix anyway. But I know there are a lot of you who just go, I can't take it. Anyway, without the internet, what would we be doing? Think about that, working from, you know, and what it really highlights is, for those who don't have good internet, how disconnected you can get, and those who do, how in many cases you can work from home. Not if you're a waiter, a plumber, you can't really do that from home, but for a lot of us knowledge workers, I could do this show from my house. Although this studio is kind of like my house. I really thought about it. And then I thought, well, wait a minute. I just come into my studio. There's no one here anyway. Except for Kim Schaffer, who'll be answering your calls. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number if you want to talk high tech. We're going to make this, a safe space. We've got enough to freak out about in the world. Let's talk about nice things. I just bought a new computer. I'm really loving it. It's the cutest little thing. You've heard me recommend, there are really 3 Windows manufacturers I recommend: Dell, HP, and Lenovo. And I love my Lenovos. I'm looking at one right now. I love my HPs. But I just got the Dell XPS 13. The brand new one just came out like a month ago. A lot of people are raving about it. And you know one of the things I really like about it? There's a version that doesn't come with Windows. They call it the Developer Edition. It comes with Linux on it. Oh. And it's a work of art. It's a thing of beauty. It's tiny, 13-inch screen. Tiny little thing, just weighs a couple of pounds. It's about the size of an iPad, but it's fast. It's got a real processor, an i7 in it, 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, I'm living, and I'm running Linux. It's beautiful. Highly recommend it. I don't know why I mentioned that. Just, it's a pretty nice system. I am fond of it. Shall I put it that way? I am fond of it. We're going to take a break, come back. We're going to get Kim. I don't know if Kim come in. Is she here today? Or is she self-isolating? We're gonna get Kim on the line here and get your calls up at 8888 Ask Leo. The website, if you're listening to the show and you want to call in, but you can't, or maybe you're driving and you can't, and you want to know, hey, what did he just? You don't have to write anything down. It's all on the website, techguylabs.com. It's all there. So make yourself home. It's open, and there's no sign up. I would say, we're going to make it free right now during the crisis, but no, it's don't have to. It's always free. Tech Guy, thanks to our fine sponsors, techguylabs.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the unbreakable Kimmy Schneffer. Hello, Kimmy.
Good morning.
Don't attempt to come in here. I've locked the door to the studio.
I know.
As I wipe things down, I realize I don't think they've ever been wiped down before.
Well, no, because you've never decided to be this clean in your life.
It's kind of disgusting. I just cleaned off my mouse, and I didn't realize it was white.
See, I clean my little area here every weekend because I'm kind of always been a germaphobe.
See, I have not, and I think that's held me in good stead. I have an excellent immunity.
I do too.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just me.
I do this to protect you as much as it is to protect me. We've got to protect the herd.
I don't know, man. People are stocking up on toilet paper, but for me, it's going to be antidepressants, because if I'm stuck in my house, I'm going to need a cocktail of all of them.
Yeah, no kidding.
I can't do it.
You're a social person,
I'm too social.
We
I
geeks,
am not a homebody at all.
This is like, oh man, this is heaven.
No, I hate it.
I got every excuse in the world for never going out of the house ever again. It's so awesome.
Mm-mm. Everything I've been wanting to do lately has gotten canceled, so I'm done.
That's true. The whole staff we were going to go to a show tomorrow, and that's been canceled. And
I knew it got serious when all the sports got.
Yeah, that's pretty serious
because it's such a big money thing. When
billions.
the March Madness when they pulled the plug on that, I went, okay, this is where I guess I have to take this a little bit more seriously.
Well, I'm sorry you don't have any windows there.
I know.
You can wander around though, because I'm stuck in here. I've literally locked the door. I'm in my bunker.
That's your self-imposed.
I brought food. I brought water. I'm in a bunker. I once visited Michael Savage's studio. I used to work with Michael Savage at KSFO. And I once visited his studio, and he has a big sign that says, "Under no circumstances should anybody ever come in here." And it's nice. It's like a living room.
He has 7 studios.
Well, this was one of them.
Okay.
But he has sealed it off, and I think now I'm going to do the same. Although there's one thing he did that I really like I haven't done. His where he sits was raised in a dais, so he's up above everybody else.
God.
That's good thinking.
Yeah, he hangs out in Marin a lot.
He's a local.
Him quite a bit. He has no problem hanging out in the local restaurants.
I wonder now.
He's terrified. Oh, now?
Yeah.
Is he terrified
I wonder
now? I don't know.
I wonder now. Hey, let's forget that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. People are listening because they want to get away from the cares of the current day. We're going to talk about the toy store, the fun stuff. Well, and who should I start with?
Let's go to line 3.
Okay.
I can't see the name because my
I can.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's covered with Lysol. You can't see. Justin in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Hello, Justin. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I am well. How's Winnipeg?
So, it's balmy. It's wonderful.
It's not balmy. It's the coldest place I've ever been.
Two months ago it was minus 40, but the last month has just been right around melting, so it's fantastic.
Oh, melting. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
0. What could be better? No, I'm just teasing you. Actually, it's beautiful. I love Winnipeg. What can I do for you?
Great summer.
Yeah, in summer. Yeah.
About a year ago, I bought a computer for my partner's business. She's an arborist.
Oh, neat.
And her tech needs are pretty low. She pretty much just needs to send invoices, emails, that sort of thing. The problem is we bought a little HP laptop with 32 gigs of storage.
Oh,
and
that's little is right. You can't even update Windows, right?
That's exactly it. I'm kind of wondering what our options are, because every 6 months or so, I have to pretty much take everything off it for Windows to.
This really irks me. The PC industry so desperate to get a low price point that they make stuff that really they shouldn't make and shouldn't sell. Yeah. I don't care if it costs you $92; it's not worth it. And they did this once before with netbooks, and frankly, almost killed the PC industry. It's only now recovering from the debacle of 15 years ago with netbooks. But they still make these little dinky machines. I don't know. Can you put more memory in it? What is it? A tablet or is it a computer?
It's a computer, just a very thin computer.
How could they sell a Windows machine with 32 gigs of storage? That's okay for a Chromebook, maybe, but for Windows, because you can't upgrade it.
Well, they were selling them in 16 as well, which. And
I've seen 8. It's nuts.
You're going into the store that you're not going to buy a PC that can't update.
Well, they knew that this would be a problem if you put anything on it. But what was the price point?
I think we were looking at around 300, something like that.
Yeah, it's as you know now, it's a false economy to buy something so cheap that you can't use it. I'm sorry. This has been going on since the Commodore, since the VIC-20. Remember the VIC-20 computer that Commodore sold so many years ago? It was so useless. It's ended up in closets all over the world. It's just not. It was like, but it was cheap. Oh, I could get a computer for my kids. So if you can't, what's the model number?
I don't have that with me offhand.
You might be able to put a bigger drive in. I do that pretty routinely. I was talking about that Dell XPS, and with a little research and work, you might be able to just unscrew the back of it and put a larger drive in there. And that would certainly solve the problem. It'd cost you, though. I mean, it costs you $100. That's a third of the price of the computer, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, but it will run faster. It'll be more reliable, and you can finally upgrade Windows without having to delete everything first. That's crazy.
I'm a little bit familiar with Linux. Do you think that would be just for basic things you may want to do? Would that be kind of
if you feel comfortable with Linux. Linux is often designed to run in constrained environments because a lot of people use it on older systems. You might try something called Puppy Linux, which is really small, 300 megabytes. And the nice thing about Linux, it's kept up to date on a regular basis. If mostly what she's doing, you could put LibreOffice on it, not Microsoft Office, but LibreOffice on it, which is free, open source, and she could do invoices. It's got spreadsheets and word processing. If she's surfing the net, it comes with Firefox, but you could put Chrome on it or Chromium. There's, if you're a little bit familiar with Linux, I would certainly look at it because, yes, it'll run better. It'll run better in smaller memory, better in smaller storage than Windows will, and it's up to date. And it's updates are incremental on Linux. They don't need, like Windows needs you need to basically download a whole new copy of Windows. That's why you don't have enough space. That's not how Linux works. They do it program by program, file by file, so it's easy. Yeah, great choice, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hello, Scotty Wilkinson.
Oh, hey, Leo. How you doing, man?
I am well. How are you?
Doing good, thanks.
How's Joanna?
She's doing good.
She's self-isolating?
Well, she works in healthcare.
Oh, dear. Well, thank you. Thank her. Of course, she's on the front line and taking chances, but...
well, second line, anyway. She works in outpatient rehab.
Oh, well, that's not as bad, I guess.
Which is not as bad, but that could be affected because
she might not get work. Yeah,
exactly.
I feel so. I mean, it starts with the healthcare workers and the first responders who have to go out there in the line of fire and treat and help really sick people. But then the people who have hourly jobs or who can't do their jobs at home, and that's the vast majority of workers. Yep. Huge impact, I think, this on the economy.
See, for me, it's no big deal. I've worked at home for 30 years.
Yeah, we introverts just go, well, what's new? What's different?
Yeah, there's not much. But she's got to go in and actually touch patients, which she, now has to wear gloves. And it's going to, could be a real problem for us.
Yeah.
Wish for the best.
We're going to do what we can for our staff. Some people do have to come in. Engineers do. I could do my show from home, but it turns out this is just as good as home, maybe better. The problem with home is we have a 17-year-old. His friends came over last night. I'm going,
Yeah, right.
One of them had a headache, said, can I have some Advil? I went,
Yeah, right.
It's like this was going overboard, but we put a jar of wipes out on the steps and said, wipe everything down before you come in. Use the wipe to open the door, then go straight to the bathroom and wash your hands for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
But I doubt that protected me. If they're sick, then I'm out of luck. But what am I going to do,
Yeah, yeah.
New York State put out a call for all retired healthcare workers to come back to work. The thing is, it's a little weird because it doesn't seem like anything's happening, But if it happens, and we're hoping it won't, and I think one of the reasons—
We're really hoping it won't.
One of the reasons we do all this is so it doesn't, right?
Exactly.
So that we do this now so that it isn't a crisis as it is in Italy right now. We don't want people to have to choose.
And did you— I mean, I hate to bring this up, but did you read what I read this morning on the news? That what England is doing, what the UK is doing, is basically saying, let everybody get infected.
Well, it's a good experiment.
Yeah. What?
Well, the truth is, we'll get herd immunity anyway, eventually.
Yeah.
But the problem is flattening the curve so that we don't all get it at once. And that's what they're going to say. What they're going to do is they're going to hit that spike where they can't care for all those people. At least they have national health.
Yeah, but will it get overwhelmed?
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, listen, I got a couple of topics.
What do you want to talk about? Let's talk about staying home and watching TV.
Well, one of them is I was just featured in an article in Popular Science about—
That's so cool.
I know. I was interviewed and everything, and it's about, how you watch movies and the dynamic range is too loud. You have to crank it up for dialogue and crank it down for—
Constant questioning from me. They say, why are commercials so loud? I said, the rules prohibit them from being louder.
Right.
What's the story?
The story is that the dynamic range of commercials is very narrow, and it's at the top of the allowed level. So
well, good. This is a good subject. Good.
There you go.
People are very interested in this. Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. Hey, this is so cool. Scott appears on techhive.com on a regular basis, but I see that you are also in Popular Science this month in the DIY column.
Yeah, I was interviewed for an article written by Whitsitt Gordon, who actually I met at CES this year. And, he called me up or sent me an email and said, hey, I'm writing an article and I would love to interview you for it. And I said, sure, of course. And the article was about how movies have a very wide dynamic range. They go from quiet dialogue to super loud explosions. And people at home have to keep adjusting their volume.
Yeah, you can't do it in the movie theater, but you can at home.
And part of the article was why you don't even have to do it in the movie theater, and why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, Scott. Actually, you kind of wish you could. Sometimes we've talked about this before. You take a sound meter in the movies. Sometimes they're painfully loud. That is correct.
I wish you could turn down the volume in the movie theater, generally speaking, because the average they stick right to the specified average that they're supposed to be, which is 85 dB which I think is too loud anyway, but okay, that's what it's specified to be, and I normally measure that's where they keep the average, but the peaks can go up to 120. So it gets painfully loud. But the reason that you don't really need to adjust the volume in the movie theater, other than turning it down generally for me, is they have a good sound system and good acoustics generally. So you can hear the difference between soft and loud. You can still hear the dialogue, understand it, presumably, hopefully. But when you get home, you may not have as good a sound system. You may be listening to the speakers on the TV itself, which are lousy generally, and you might not have very good acoustics. So the dialogue intelligibility gets very wonky, and so you turn it up when to hear the dialogue, and then the explosion comes, and you go, whoa, and you're blasted out of your seat.
Yeah, I hate that.
I hate when that happens.
I hate it. You know the worst? I was watching Batman, which I can't remember which one, maybe Batman Begins, and I would turn it up so I could hear the dialogue, and exactly as you said, it would get extraordinarily loud. And this was on good speakers. So what's this and we get calls all the time, people saying commercials are louder than the show. Now the FCC says that's not allowed.
Correct. And the commercials don't, in fact, exceed the maximum allowable loudness of the FTC. The reason they sound louder is because their dynamic range is very narrow, and everything in the commercial is up at that top level.
Oh, it's like, for people listening, it's like the old AM radio, where it's called dynamic range compression.
Yep.
And they compress it so it punches through the dial.
Exactly.
It's not actually louder, but it's perceptively louder.
Perceived louder. I actually measured one time. I was watching TV, and I just put my sound meter on and just let it run for half an hour. And the commercials were not, in fact, louder than the TV show.
Just perceived to be.
It's perceived to be because they were at that highest level all the time.
So it's funny because we talk about high dynamic range in photography or in movies.
Which is great in movies and TV and photography.
And that's a visual thing, but this is the audio equivalent of that.
Correct. And so what do you do about it? Well, one thing is my main recommendation is what is often called night mode. Most AV receivers and sound bars, even some TVs, I think, have something that they normally call night mode, which is dynamic range compression.
Oh.
So it takes the loudest and softest. Yeah. It narrows that dynamic range. So you can turn the volume down. The reason it's called night mode is you can turn down the volume and still hear everything without disturbing the person trying to sleep in the next room.
So it's a little counterintuitive because but what it will do is it'll even out the sound.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Correct. And to tell you the truth, I often listen in night mode anyway.
All the time. Why not?
All the time. Why not? Yeah, I don't really need... Well, it solves, to a large degree, it solves that problem of having to crank it up for the dialogue and crank it down for the explosions. It's called riding the volume or riding the gain.
But it does it so you don't have to.
In essence. It makes the difference between the loudest and the softest smaller, so everything is kind of even.
But now, if you don't have a good sound system, if you're using the TV's speakers, will night mode be harder to understand what's going on, or no?
No. Night mode
should make it
even
easier.
More important. Yeah.
Okay.
More important in that case. One of the other recommendations I made in this article was to get a better sound system.
If you have a good sound system, you could turn up the center channel.
Correct. And that's another solution. Exactly right.
That's where the voices are coming from.
That's where the dialogue is.
So I can't tell if it's because I'm older or if it's because they're changing how they mix audio. I think it's mostly the latter, where there's a lot of ambient sound and it's hard to hear the dialogue.
Yeah.
And I'm turning into Grandpa Simpson. What did he say? What? I don't think it's my hearing. Maybe it is. But
so that is a good solution. In most AVR receivers or 3.1 or more sound systems, you can turn up the volume of the center channel and then turn down the overall volume, right? So that then the explosions aren't super loud, but you still hear the dialogue.
I think this is particularly the case when they've mixed these movies for theaters or surround sound systems. They expect you to have a center channel. If you don't, then you're going to get all big mush of everything together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly right.
Or just do what I do, turn on the closed captioning. Especially if there's an accent, strong accents.
Well, there is that.
I don't know what the heck they're saying.
I just saw a screening of a very wonderful movie I was going to talk about here when it became available in the U.S. called Snake White, which is Chinese. And it had subtitles for English because it's in Cantonese. And I always it's a beautiful movie, but I always have a hard time with subtitles because it takes my eyes away from the image on the screen. I have to go down here, read the dialogue, and then go back up. But
I hate dubbed. That's not an option either.
I agree with you completely.
Because then you get bad acting. Parasite, I had that problem with. I had to watch the subtitles. I felt like I wasn't giving the movie its due.
Yeah.
Because you had to read while I was watching it.
Yeah. You remember that? Have you ever seen that Liberty Insurance commercial with the bad actor?
Liberty
bibbity.
We'll dub it in post.
We'll dub it.
When all else fails, you write in Popular Science, use headphones.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to go, especially if you're older and you have to turn it up louder than the kids.
Exactly. So that is sort of the last resort, but it's really not a bad way to go. You remove all the acoustic characteristics of the room. There's one reason to listen to headphones anyway, because you put a good set of speakers in a bad room, they're not going to sound very good. No,
that's true.
So, headphones eliminate that problem altogether. Of course, they're somewhat antisocial as well.
Well, that's why I have them. What, honey? What? I can't hear you. I'm wearing headphones.
Right.
Scott Wilkinson. You can read his article. It's in Popular Science. It's online right now at popsci.com. Movies. How to deal with movies that bounce from too quiet to too loud. We like HDR in video, but in audio, we want less dynamic range. TechHive.com. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. We're doing our... I'm doing my public service by doing a low COVID show.
Yes, I think that's wise.
We know what's going on. We don't need to. We don't need to. This isn't the news show. So,
right.
I mean, and I believe people should know what's going on. I'm not saying.
Oh,
that.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, you watch the news. The local news or whatever. That's the only thing they're talking about for the entire time.
Yeah.
Except for the weather.
Yeah. Yeah. We live in that,
which I don't know,
kind of world now where everything is, very big in the moment, and then we move on to the next thing. This one we're going to get sick of, I think.
We're going to get sick of, yeah. I can only hope that it is a temporary thing, and
we're all praying.
Yeah,
we're all
exactly.
praying. My son's in Vietnam right now. I was talking.
Are you kidding? Really?
Talking to him last night, and he's trying to figure out what to do, because
oh my God,
even if he comes back here, and he would be able to, I think, self-quarantine if he came back, but there are very few flights, and he wouldn't be able to find a job. I said, everybody's getting laid off. There are no new jobs here.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
We had a trip planned to Australia in July.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're supposedly going to Germany in June to go to Oberammergau, which is a theatrical presentation with 1,000 audience members and 2,000 cast. I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think that's going to happen.
But they haven't canceled it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Joanna, my wife, was due to present at 2 conferences there, and one of them's already been moved to next March.
Yeah.
A year from now. So, and I don't relish the idea of being in a plane for 15 hours.
No. We flew to St. Louis last week, but that was the last. That's it.
Yeah.
I've gone from going to, party at RSA where 2 people were diagnosed. One's in an induced coma right now.
Oh, an induced coma. Wow.
Yeah. And didn't get it there. Went to St. Louis. I think that's been 7 days. I think I'm all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But now I'm locking myself in my studio. Anyway, do you have time to speak at the top?
Sure.
Good. You take a couple of minutes here.
Sure. Happy to. Joe asked, what's the name of the movie that I just mentioned? I honestly don't remember. What movie did I just mention? Somebody in the chat room remind me, what movie did I just mention? I did mention the Liberty Mutual commercial, Liberty Bibbity, which is one of the funniest commercials I've ever seen. It's just so hilarious. And Liberty, how brilliant are they at that? Their tagline is saying their name 4 times. Liberty, 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 liberty. I mean, you can't get more effective than that, aside from having really funny commercials. But, most funny commercials, many times you don't even remember what they're for. You just remember the commercial. It's so funny. For example, we just saw an abbreviated version of the Jason Momoa commercial from the Super Bowl last night, where he comes home and he takes off his muscles and his hair. It's hilarious. But I guess, as I recall now, I think it's probably Rocket Mortgage, but that it took me a while to remember that one. With Liberty Bibbity, you can't forget the name of the company, so that's pretty cool. I was talking about a movie not. Oh, Snake White. Thank you very much. Yes, Snake White. I hope to talk about this on my segment when it becomes available. If we all still go out to the movies, it's a fascinating movie. It's a 1,000-year-old Cantonese opera made with modern movie making techniques. It's really interesting. It's very different from your typical movie. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, good song choice, Leo Laporte, the tech guy, Lady Laura, our musical director. You could do Apocalypse Now songs all day today. There are quite a few of them, as it turns out. 8888, ask Leo the phone number, 888-827-5536. On we go with the show. Scott, San Diego. Hello, Scott.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you. I appreciate you taking the call.
My pleasure. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm the guy that posted the picture of the cat on the backpack in the last round of assignments.
I loved that.
And
so we had a photo assignment. People, I think, know that. Kitty was the assignment. And Scott submitted a picture of two backpackers walking down the road from behind. At first sight, looked perfectly normal. And then you notice there's a cat standing on top of the backpack of one of the hikers. Great photo. We loved it. Thank you, Scott.
Oh, thank you. But since then, the issue I have is accessing the site on Flickr to post for the new assignment, Layers. Mine has been stuck on March the 8th ever since then. I've contacted Renee, who told me that she is getting submissions, and Flickr support tells me that the date shown is based on the latest admin status update. That once a new status update has been inputted, the date will change to the current date. And I don't know if that's something your admin does or that Flickr does.
So are you seeing updates on Flickr in other respects?
Yeah, it seems to work fine.
When you go there, there's new pictures at the top of the page and all that, right?
No, the new pictures there's only the.
Well, how about the rest of Flickr, not the tech guy group?
No, the rest of Flickr works perfectly well. In
Okay.
fact, when I go to your other site, your Flickr.com groups, I am able to post to that, and I can see it, scroll through the pictures and everything. I did notice in the bottom right-hand corner there's a groups beta thing.
I'm trying to log in here to I don't really even understand exactly what's going on here, so I'm trying to log in. So Flickr itself, the home page, the photo stream, and all that's normal.
Right.
When you go to the Tech Guy group, you can see new pictures there as well. Is that right?
Well, I see the
only up to that week.
Yeah, it was dated that week, and it says it was taken on March the 9th. It's the first one of the Layers assignment, and that's it. I haven't gotten any new ones, and I can't make it get any new ones.
Huh. I don't think that's anything. I'm pretty sure that's nothing we're doing. And you called Flickr and you said, let me just go to, okay, I'm on my, let me see. Let me just go to the group and see what the most recent date I see is. The Tech Guy group on Flickr. Flickr's a great photo sharing site. And let's see, the photo pool assignment. Let's see the new assignment. It started March 8th. And
the first one should be a picture of a gal in the airport.
Okay, let's just check it out. I think that tech support for our group is probably not an appropriate thing for the radio show, but I'll just reason I'm willing to talk a little bit about it on the air is because it isn't unusual sometimes for people to see something that's happening to their system but not to others. So I'm looking at the group. I'm looking at the group pool, and I see a March 9th photo, which is a woman in an airport. Is that what you're saying is the last one?
Right.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm seeing as well. So don't know what to say about it, except that's what's that's what's on the website. So I don't know if that means. I don't know what that means.
And up next to where your photo is, it says Tech Guy. It used to say, it says join now. It used to say add photo. And I could not add photos, although I could add a photo to your other Flickr site.
Well, I can add photos. So I'm not sure what's going on there. It could be that nobody's posted anything, or maybe it's broken. Smug Mug, which bought Flickr some time ago, has been re-engineering it. Remember, Flickr was a standalone site bought by Yahoo. Yahoo was sold to Verizon. Verizon kind of didn't know what to do with it. Eventually sold it to Smug Mug. So Flickr's been through some changes, and I'm wondering if there's something going on. Make sure you're logged in, and you see your photo in the upper right-hand corner, your little head. Make sure you're logged in, because you won't be able to add a photo unless you are logged in. I can log in and add a photo, but I do note that you're right. The most recent photo in the group at this point is the woman walking in the airport, and that is a week old. Feels like we should have something a little bit more recent on there. Moving on to Scott Wilkinson.
Why, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I always have such a great time here. I had a question. We've been talking in the chat room. Tech in San Diego was wondering if TVs are secure. Secure from online problems. And Twisted Mister had a great response. Sure, just don't connect it to the internet.
It's actually the right response. That's exactly right.
And except if you use the TV's apps. Then
why does that make it better? Oh, well.
Because then you have to be connected to the internet.
Yeah, right. So don't.
So use an Apple TV or a Roku or something.
Yeah. Connect that to the internet, not your TV.
Right. I've been getting
then your TV can't watch you either.
Also true.
Can't phone home.
Yes, absolutely. And whether or not they do that, they say they don't, but I don't trust them. Wasn't it Vizio that had a problem with that they were?
All of them do.
All of them do. So don't connect your TV to the internet. Use a streaming box. And I doubt that a streaming box can get infected with a computer virus.
Well, yes, it can, of course.
Yeah, well, I guess it can.
That's why you get an Apple or a Roku, somebody who's going to keep it up to date.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a computer. Anything connected to the internet that's a computer can be a problem.
Can get infected.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more than infected, can be a gateway into your network.
Right.
That's the real risk.
That's the real risk. Agreed. Well, I certainly have devices on my network. I do not have any kind of Alexa or voice command things. I feel kind of creepy about those, so I just don't have them. That doesn't mean I'm safe from everything, but at least nobody can listen in directly. A lot of people in the chat room have been recommending this movie Knives Out. And I kind of didn't want to see it because, just the name of it, made me think of, stabbings and blood and gore. But somebody said that not very much of that. It's
a great movie.
More of a detective
mystery.
Yeah.
If you like Hercule Poirot, it's an Agatha Christie style mystery.
Okay, yeah, I love those.
The murder victim has his throat slit, so that's a little bloody, and that's it.
But that's it. Okay, that's at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I hear Daniel Craig is the private
He's
eye.
Apparently going to make this. He's giving up James Bond to do this character. Yeah, this is this southern gentleman detective. He's a new Hercule Poirot. It's actually pretty good.
Does he do a good Southern accent?
He does it very broad, not good Southern accent. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Everybody hams it up in this one. You'll love it.
Okay, I'll watch it then. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Agatha Christie. And it's got a good I think it's very well done, but it's very hammy. It's completely hammy.
I love hammy.
Yeah,
I'm
I
totally
think
down with
it's
hammy.
your style movie, to be honest with you. And it's going to be a series.
Yeah, there's going to be multiple of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Was Jamie Lee Curtis also in it? Or who was the
yes, she's in it. Toni Collette's in it. The cast is fantastic. You will love everybody in it.
All right. Cool.
Toni Collette is hysterical in it.
All right. Well, then that's going on my Netflix queue.
Oh yeah, it's a must-watch.
It only was in the theaters not long ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty new, and it was nominated for an Oscar. It was one of the Best Picture nominees.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't remember that. I didn't even watch the Oscars this year. I saw almost none of the.
They were awful.
Was the show awful?
Yeah.
And it was down some 3 million viewers from last year too, so it's dying.
Well, and that's the problem is they're desperate. So unaccountably, Eminem, who's not nominated for anything. In fact, when he did win an Oscar in 2000, I think it's 2005, didn't show up. For some reason, all of a sudden, he comes out and he does the song that he won an Oscar for years ago.
What?
For no reason, and then that's that. It was awful.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
It was just awful.
I used to like that show, and I still like.
They need a host. The best thing that happened is Steve Martin came out with.
I did see that little
with
bit.
Chris
Steve
Rock.
Yeah.
And that was great because
they were sort of hosts.
They were non-hosts. So that was funny.
Yeah.
The musical numbers were bizarre. I don't know. I was very unhappy.
Was it Randy Newman? I think I saw his musical number. Well, I do like him too, but that song was kind of boring, I thought. So, I don't know.
It used to be, and we made a big event of it. We had a party and everything.
Yeah.
I used to be a big Oscar guy, but it's really gone downhill. And I think part of it is that they feel like they're desperate to get an audience back.
Yeah, and so they're doing these weird things, and they're only driving people away more.
Right.
Well, anyway. Something to watch here on Sunday, Scooter X is writing me. The Walt Disney Company will make Frozen 2 available. Oh, yeah.
We should have mentioned that, actually. That's a good story.
Yeah, Frozen 2 is coming out 3 months early.
On Disney+.
Yeah. Now, I don't have Disney+. I did buy CBS All Access so I could watch Picard.
Was that worth it?
Which is pretty good. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I also was watching Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, and I kind of lost interest. That kind of dropped by the wayside for me. But Picard is interesting. I'm one episode behind right now, but I did just see the one with Riker and Troy in their retreat with their daughter. That was just charming. I just thought that was great. So it's okay. It's worth watching for that. There's probably some other stuff on CBS I could be watching as well. And probably be watching more these days. So I'm probably glad I have it. But I don't have the Disney Plus. And I probably should get that because that's got all the Marvel stuff and it's got The Simpsons, which I still like The Simpsons.
Westworld comes back tomorrow.
Yeah, that one was a little too intense for me. A little too gory, even though
it was violent and weird.
Very violent and weird. And I like weird. Don't get me wrong. I love weird. I'm weird. And I really like, meditations on consciousness and free will and all that kind of stuff. I really like that stuff.
I think this new season is going to be very different. I'm very curious because they're basically broken out.
So do I need to watch the first seasons to get up to speed on the new one, you think?
No, probably not.
Okay.
As long as you understand there's robots, there's humans. The robots have revolted.
Right.
The humans are trying to keep them down. Now the robots have escaped from Westworld. That's all you need to know.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, then I'll start watching the new series, the new season, rather.
And it's got Aaron Paul in it, the guy from Breaking Bad. Aaron, what's his name?
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember his name. Anyway, Aaron something. He's good. He's good.
Good. Good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've just seen the trailers, but I'll be watching tomorrow. I was disappointed at the end of the last season. It was like, what the hell?
When they go too far off the rails.
What's going on?
Yeah.
All right, Scotty, have a wonderful week.
You too. See
Jesse
you next week.
Pinkman, that's his real name. All right, see ya. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy, yay. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches. 8888 Ask Leo, that's my phone number. If you want to talk high-tech, I'd love to talk high-tech with you. 888-827-5536, toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. We're relaxing, we're taking it easy. We're not getting all worried about anything. We're staying at home, watching a lot more TV. I was talking to Scott after his segment, and he or somebody in the chat room maybe reminded me that, of course, a lot of movies are not getting released because nobody wants to go to the theater. So some movies, like the James Bond movie, are being put off to the fall. But there was a lot of anticipation for, is it Frozen 2, Frozen 3, Frozen 7? I don't know. The next Frozen movie. I guess it's Frozen 2. A lot of anticipation. Disney's decided to do something kind of cool. They're not giving up a lot of money, but they aren't going to open it theatrically. They're going to open it, at least not right away. They're going to open it on Disney Plus, their streaming movie channel, starting, I think, tomorrow. So I don't have kids, young kids anymore. I know parents with young kids who say, if I hear Let It Go one more time, I'm going to scream. but if your children love the story, it'll be on Disney Plus. And the reason is that wrong? Frozen 2 came out in November. It was already in theaters. Oh, well, so what's the big deal? Oh, they're releasing it to streaming early. See, this shows you how little I know. So everybody's already seen it. What's the big deal? I don't need to give them a plug for that. Forget I mentioned anything. 8888 Ask Leo. I thought they were doing a good thing, like releasing it early but they are, but not that big a deal. Oh, they're going to stream it a little early. The deal is free publicity, as somebody in the chat room said. Yes, that's the deal. Father Neil, Jordan, Minnesota. Hello, Father.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm a very long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you. Great to have you.
Yeah, I've been around since the Tech TV days.
Oh, that's great.
So I worked in information technology for a decade before I went into seminary and became a priest, and so I've got some experience. But and I try to keep up with that, keep the pencil sharp by listening to your show. But I've got this situation now where our Archbishop in this diocese has dispensed all Catholics from coming to Mass.
Wow!
Which now, I know it's really unprecedented.
Wow.
I've never seen it like this at all. So I've got a congregation that is, fairly elderly, and so I want to make available to them the Mass at home.
Time to start streaming. That's right.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, I put out a survey, and it seems to be that the budget could be somewhere between $2,500 and $5,000.
Oh, it doesn't need to be that much. It just really depends on how fancy you want to get.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest thing would be a single camera, medium shot, where you could, because you need to see the altar, so you could see the Mass, see the priest.
Exactly.
Not moving, not multiple shots, not switching shots, just as if the parishioner is kind of in the front row. Okay? Yeah, sure. And can see everything going on. So in a way, for most of them, they're going to have a better view than they would have anyway. And then the secondary consideration is audio. And so you can do that with, honestly, you can do that with a smartphone. That's for the video. The audio is a little more complicated because you're distant from the camera. So there are a number of choices there. There's a kind of a cool device. I'm trying to think of the best way to. You want to do it wirelessly. There's a cool device it's a little pricey, but The problem with most wireless microphones is unless you spend a lot of money, they're not very good. You could spend your whole budget, that whole $2,500 on a wireless microphone. I don't want you to do that. So there are external microphones for iOS that will let you do it wirelessly. There's also wired ones. I'm trying to think. We interviewed some people formerly of Audio Technica that made a device that I thought was quite cool. Unfortunately, it has the worst name, which is Mic. M-I-C. So as I search for it on Google, I'm not finding it right away. But it was cool because what it did was it allowed you to put the microphone. You could put it actually on the altar. Are you mostly by the altar? Do you move around? Do you go to a pulpit for some of it, or?
Yeah, we do move around a little bit, and we do have a sound system in place. A soundboard. And
okay, so you're already micing yourself. So that makes it much easier. You just need to get the output of that soundboard into the phone. That might be a little wire. The good news is there aren't any parishioners to stumble on the wires. I think, right? Are you still having people? Are people coming in, or is the church empty?
Yeah, no, there'll be people there. Yeah.
Okay, so you do have to be a little careful of that. But if you can get a wire, and the reason I say a smartphone is because it already has the internet capability. Do you want to do it on Facebook Live or YouTube?
Probably YouTube.
Now, YouTube, if you're doing mobile streaming, has an unfortunate requirement. You need 1,000 subscribers to your YouTube channel. If you're doing it from a computer, you don't. So it might, So you could hook up a camera to a computer and then stream to YouTube from a computer. You know, it's funny. We're doing something similar. Our local Chabad, our temple, had intended to do an event on Thursday with a 93-year-old Holocaust survivor and Frank's stepsister, and obviously they can't do it anymore. But they had sold tickets. They wanted people to come up. They called me. I said, you can come and do it in our studio. She and her interviewer by themselves can come sit in our studio, and we're going to stream it to YouTube Live. That's free. Everybody can get on YouTube. You can distribute a link. It makes it very easy. Now, of course, we're all set up to stream, so what you have to do is that front end. But since you've already got the audio is, by the way, the single hardest part. The picture is simple. So if you want to do it live, or do you care if it's live?
I would like to do it live,
Yeah, you want to do it at normal mass times. Yeah. So I think that's going to be the one trick. You could go out and say, everybody needs to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. You probably have a few dozen subscribers. That's the case with Chabad. They had 43 subscribers. I said, well, you need to get 1,000. But once you get 1,000, you could do it from a mobile phone, and that would be so easy. Otherwise, maybe easier laptop. Got the sound coming in from your soundboard. You hook up a camera to the laptop. You just set it up, fixed camera. I would say make it as simple as possible. If you wanted to switch it, there are ways to do it. Probably not by this Sunday, but there are ways to do it where you can use. We have a device. I love this device. It's $500. It's from a company called Black Magic. It's called their ATEM Mini, A-T-E-M Mini, and it can take 4 cameras via HDMI port. So somebody and an audio in. So somebody could sit there and you could have a camera that's a close-up of your pulpit, have a camera that's a close-up of the altar. You could have a wide shot, and they could switch between them. And then all of that goes via a USB into your computer and then streams. So that's a $500 device that would allow you to hook up multiple cameras and so forth if you wanted to get fancy. Honestly, I think a single camera is probably good enough because that's what they're seeing when they're sitting in the church.
Yeah, and if we wanted to put a nicer camera up in the choir loft that had a nice zoom lens, what would be something you'd recommend there?
Now you're getting fancy on me. So, no, it's totally doable. In fact, any camcorder, we use consumer-grade Canon Vixia cameras, and they have very long zoom. You really already solved the hard part because you have an audio system. I should have thought of that. Of course you do. And so as long as you can get audio out of that board and get the camera output into a computer with the audio, I think you're going to be good.
We can stream from that Canon Vixia. We can stream right into a computer.
You hook it up via HDMI cable into the computer. Gotcha. The cables are going to be the issue because you got to get the audio to the computer too. But if you've got both of those, then you just fire up YouTube and you say, I want to create a live stream, and boom, cool. Bingo. Yeah. You're lucky you have this tech background.
Yeah.
They all said, ask Father Neil. He knows how to do this.
Exactly.
But you're not alone. A lot of people are going to do this. And, of course, a lot of the mega churches have been doing it for years. And so a lot of the kind of consumer-grade streaming stuff is made for churches. We use TriCasters here. Lots of churches use TriCasters. But they have bigger budgets. They're really doing a TV show, in effect. This is just a temporary thing for you. I would try not to spend a huge amount of money. And I don't think you have to. I think a camcorder, a laptop, and you're good to go. You need the audio, and you'll have to figure out how to convert the audio from the analog out of the board. Probably doesn't have USB, so you just get a little device. We use something called a Scarlett. Let's see, who makes the Scarlett? It's from, it's escaping me briefly, but it's a really good audio USB interface, and it's 2 T's in Scarlett, and it comes from Focusrite. So that will allow you to hook up your audio from your board, turn it into USB, which you can then plug into the computer. I think this is going to be something a lot of people are going to be doing.
Yeah.
And a lot of things, the Metropolitan Opera in New York is going to start streaming operas. People can watch them in their house. I think this is a great way to keep people who are at home connected to the outside world. And this is especially important for older people. Who really are going to be housebound for a while, and they want their services. Of course they do. Yep. I think it's a great idea. Maybe we'll put I think maybe we should put something together to talk about how to do that. I'll talk to my team, because that'd be a great thing for us to do, kind of a how-to video for the emergency.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you, Father Neil. Thank you for doing this.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, there's nothing good about this, but it is lucky, I think, that we are where we are in technology. We have the internet. Many of his parishioners, I'm sure, can get onto YouTube, even on their phone, right, or a laptop. And so we're going to be able to stream that talk by the Holocaust survivor. We're, church services, but you can think of a lot of things besides church and opera. This will be a boon for. Imagine doing this without the internet. It'd be a very different situation. Our show today brought to you by SimpliSafe. I am a big SimpliSafe fan. Let me talk a little bit about SimpliSafe here. We love our podcast sponsors and make it possible for us to bring you the Tech Guys show for free. And I'll tell you what, SimpliSafe you're going to love, because it's the best home security, bar none. With home security, there's a couple of different ways you could protect your home. There's the traditional way. You call up, they roll a truck, technician comes out, with a butt crack and a guy, and he's tromping around your house with a drill, makes a mess, costs a small fortune. That's one way. Or the SimpliSafe way. SimpliSafe has all the sensors, everything you need. You put them in yourself. You peel and stick. Some motion sensors, window open, door open sensors, glass break sensors, even water sensors you can put by the water heater, CO2, carbon monoxide, that's it, CO sensors, everything, outdoor cameras. They've got doorbells. They got everything. SimpliSafe is everything you need in a home security system with its award-winning protection, and it's affordable. It's easy. You install it yourself, which is nice because you could take it with you when you move. If you're renting, that's a must-have. You could do it in 30 minutes, tops. Plus, you get exactly the sensors you want. You order them all on the SimpliSafe site, simplisafe.com/twit. And they have the best monitoring for less than anybody, with no contracts. Plus, police officers respond faster with SimpliSafe, because when the alarm goes off, the monitoring can check to see if there's somebody in the house. It's not you. And they relay that information to the police, so the police know this is no false alarm, and they go. CNET Editor's Choice Award twice in a row. 50 cents a day for the monitoring, professional monitoring, no contract, 24/7. The Verge calls SimpliSafe the best home security system. So do I. I love it. Go to simplisafe.com/twit today. You'll get free shipping and a 60-day risk-free trial. So there's nothing to lose. I'm telling you, people who set this up go, this was easy. I love this. And you feel so much safer. simplisafe.com/twit. simplysafe.com/twit. It's home security done right. Really is the best. And we thank them for their support, making the podcast possible. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Yeah, we should do a primer on how to stream. Boy, there, the Berlin Philharmonic is streaming. The Metropolitan Opera in New York is streaming. Somebody said the Seattle Symphony will be streaming. It's interesting. I mean, it's going to be, the world's a different place after this. Of course. In some ways, much worse, but maybe in some ways better. Maybe more people will be able to work from home. I don't know. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. Back to the phones we go. Dale, Los Angeles. Hello, Dale. Hey, Dale. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Hello. How are you?
Oh, all right. Thank you, Leo. Thank you for what you do. I have problem with my phone, with my computer.
Okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm your online tech support.
Yeah, getting these pop-ups from Google, Chrome, notification-list.com. And
are you getting on your computer or on your phone?
On my laptop. I started with products, different advertising.
They're ads. Yeah, they're ads. So usually when this happens, it's because you have some software on your computer that's doing this. And you could see the incentive for a bad guy to do it, which is he's showing you ads, and he's probably making a little money every time you click it or even just see it. So they can do this to thousands of people. Just drive by as you visit a website or things like that. There are a few ways to figure out what's doing it. The first thing, of course, is to suspect your browser. They call them browser hijacker objects, and they're often installed as extensions to your browser. Are you on Windows?
Yes, Windows 10.
Yeah. So it's a little complicated. What browser are you using?
It happens mostly on Chrome.
Yeah.
But mostly on Chrome.
So one thing to do is to go into the Chrome settings, and I always do this anyway in every browser, and turn off notifications from websites. And there should be a list. I haven't used Chrome in a long time, but as I remember, there should be a list of sites that you've approved notifications from. So the first thing to do is to go there, delete everything, because you don't want no browser notifications are a terrible idea. And then I'm pretty sure there sure ought to be a setting in Chrome that says, do not offer me, do not give me the chance to say yes to this. I never want notifications from a website. It's almost always a bad idea. Maybe you do sometimes, in which case you just have to religiously click no. But one of the first things to do is to check that, because perhaps you said yes to a website that decided to take advantage of you and put a lot of ads up. So go through that. If Chrome does not let you disable that notifications, and you may have to look deep, I seem to remember it's in the content section. So go to it's way down in the menus, because you know what? Honestly, Google's an advertising company, and a lot of those pop-ups they make money on. So they have mixed feelings about letting you turn that off. They know they have to. And honestly, if they don't, get rid of Chrome. Don't use it. I'm pretty sure you can. But so disable that. Now, if you're still getting it, then the other thing you want to look in is Chrome extensions, also in your setup menu. And you want to turn off any extensions you didn't explicitly install. Get rid of all of them. The other thing you should do is there's a checkbox, and this is on by default, to block pop-ups. Make sure that's checked. You don't want to see those. Remember how bad it got for a while with pop-ups? We even had to install pop-up blockers. Eventually, the browser companies, again, kind of kicking and screaming, said, all right, we'll put a pop-up blocker in the browser. They had to. So it's, let's see, I'm looking at the Google Chrome help. We'll put a link to this in our show notes at techguylabs.com. On your computer, open Chrome. At the top right, click the more ... Go to Settings under Privacy and Security, Site Settings. click notifications. Okay, how many clicks was that? Then choose to block or allow notifications, and I would say block all. And then look at the sites that you've approved and delete those. That's going to get rid of a lot of it. Those drive me crazy. First thing I do when I configure a browser is turn that off. And a good browser, it should be off by default. I've been using Firefox lately because it really, of all the browsers, seems to be the most aggressive in protecting your privacy and your rights. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I've been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere, man. But today we're staying home and breathing the apartment air, man. Johnny Jet, our traveling guru, is here, JohnnyJet.com. What does a traveling guy do when no one can travel?
You cancel I canceled all of my travels.
That's the right thing to do. Now, I flew last week, as you know, we talked about it, to St. Louis. Plane wasn't empty, but it wasn't as full as it normally was. I didn't see a lot of masks. But I think as this, I don't want to say, I guess, crisis deepens, travel's going to be more and more difficult.
It's a crisis.
And it's a crisis. I really feel the real crisis is for people who will be out of work, who will be furloughed, who can't pay the rent, who can't buy food. It's a crisis in that regard. The whole economy is shutting down, and travel's part of it.
For sure. I've had so many conferences to go to. They all got postponed or canceled. Just think about, the flights, the hotels, the taxi, Ubers, whatever, car services, restaurants, bellmen, none of them are going to get money now for a while.
It just breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. Las Vegas, empty.
Agreed.
We talked last week, Disney World was doing a boom business. Not now.
Yep. Well, two things. I do still think it's the best time to buy tickets, but for July or June, hopefully when this thing is passed.
You're an optimist, Johnny. Okay, it's going to pass someday, but I don't know.
Why I think it's the best time to buy is because if you buy your tickets before March 31st, and I'm not saying to travel now. I'm actually telling everyone not to travel.
No.
Stay home. But this summer, the prices are so cheap, and they're offering these really loose restrictions. So if you do buy and you don't want to go, you can cancel and you'll get at least a travel credit, or if your flight gets canceled, you're getting a refund. And because of all these airlines are just cutting capacity, I mean, Delta, 40%, all the airlines, once people do start booking again, these prices are going to skyrocket for summer travel, hopefully.
Yeah.
But you will be protected. So that's why I think it's a great time to buy. But I do not think people should travel unless you really have to. And, after today, they just made an announcement, the vice president saying that they're going to ban travel from the UK and Ireland now.
Now, wait a minute. We should clarify, because ban sounds like you can't. If you're a U.S. citizen overseas now, you can get home.
Correct. Anytime. But you will be subjected to a 14-day self-quarantine. They will test you. There's only 13 airports you can go through coming back now.
Now, my son's in Vietnam. He's been in Asia. Poor guy. He's been in Asia since December. He's fine. He's healthy. He's had a blast. But I said, maybe it's time to come home. He bought an open-ended ticket. Maybe it's time to come home. He said,
I don't know. It might be a good time to rent an apartment there. You can rent an apartment in Vietnam for like $500 a month.
He says he can even
$1,000
he can even get a job there, which I don't think he'd be able to here because everybody's getting laid off or furloughed. But he can get a job working in a youth hostel there for room and board and a little spending money. Maybe he should just stay, huh?
I would actually tell him to stay. I mean, things here are in crisis mode. And
now, if I wanted to go to England, so my nephew is a student at the Rhode Island School of Design. They're shutting down, as most universities are.
Right.
His girlfriend's from England, and he says, "I'm going to go to England with her." Can he?
He can go.
He could.
He can go.
They're not stopping that, huh?
The problem is all these airlines are going to cut back. They're cutting.
So go now.
They all scrambled on Thursday.
And plan on living there for a while.
Yeah. I mean, the airlines scrambled and they were keeping their Ireland and UK flights pretty much intact. Now, after today's announcement, those things are going to be slashed And to be honest, depends how long this lasts. A lot of these airlines are not going to make it. I mean, there's some talk about some airlines that you would never think that would go under.
Well, I own a small business. I really understand. Most businesses are not sitting like Apple is on a pile of cash.
Right.
The big companies, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, they can weather this storm. But but your Main Street businesses, including mine, we live day to day. We're like like your household where you live paycheck to paycheck. So if there's a drastic drop in sales or business, you could survive a little bit. A restaurant can close for a little bit, but not forever.
Well, you'd think you'd be okay because everyone's looking for information right now.
Oh, you'd think. I'm sure we'll have lots of listeners, but advertisers have decided, well, I don't want to risk my money now. We got to save our money because they're spending as little as they can.
Right, I understand that.
So it really is. It trickles throughout the economy.
Without a doubt. Let's just pray it goes by quickly. That's all you can hope for. And use the protective measures. Everyone, when they tell you to isolate or quarantine, listen to them.
And I really do. Out. I mean, this has nothing to do with travel, but we got to look to the government for relief at this point because there's a lot of people out of work. They
passed a bill this morning, which is good to hear.
And in Seattle, for instance, the mayor has said no evictions during the crisis because there'll be people who can't pay rent.
And I've been getting notices from like every different, the gas company. The
what about cruise lines? They've got to be going out of business.
Oh my God, they're in big trouble. So
I have a cruise planned for a year from now. Is there going to be a cruise? Is there going to be a company left in a year? I don't know.
You never know.
Which cruise lines are at risk? Do you know?
Well, I think Princess just lost 80% of their money in the last year from the stock market. But they're going to be around. I mean, these guys are owned by Carnival. They're just going through a tough time. Everything's going to get back to where it was, although I think people's mentality is going to change. I think handshakes are going to slowly start to go out.
I think we're going to see a new world at the other end of this, for sure.
And I think that's a good thing. I really do. I think
but the problem is, if you don't shake hands, how do you know he's not holding a weapon? So I have a new thing. Because that's why we shake hands. You know that. So that's your sword hand.
I forgot about that.
That's your sword hand. No sword. I've got a new thing. You clap twice, show your hands, and then elbow bump. That's my new handshake. Just to prove.
I don't know if that's going to work.
I got no weapons.
I like to tap in the feet.
Tap in the feet. That, again, you got to show your hands.
Tap in the feet.
You got to show your hands. No weapons. Then you can do whatever else after that. How about the Vulcan the sign? I see people doing that. Live long and prosper.
I don't think I can do the Vulcan sign. That's a problem. I can do the nanu.
That's okay. That's close enough. Nanu.
But anyway, the point is, don't travel now unless you really have to. And if you are traveling, you better get home because I think there's going to be a travel ban. So you don't want to go too far. Otherwise, you're going to be just driving home if you're in the U.S.
Dr. Mom says, if you're going to elbow bump, don't do it with the elbow you're sneezing into. Oh, crud.
Yeah.
That's right. That's why foot touch maybe is the best idea. Your shoe's already filthy.
Agreed.
We live in interesting times.
Yeah. I mean, I put my Hawaiian shirt on just to try and get some calm. I was supposed to go to Hawaii, take my family to Hawaii in a few weeks. Just canceled that.
Yeah. What about refunds? Are companies, I mean, I know they're broke, but, we have a trip in June to Germany. Are companies going to be giving refunds?
So here's the thing. The airlines are trying not to give your money back. So they'll offer you a credit. But if you don't want a credit and you don't think you're going to travel within a year, I would wait until a day before or whatever, or even a couple hours before your flight to see if it cancels.
Right.
Because if it cancels, then they'll give you your money back.
They have to, by law.
And if you need to travel, let's say you're not going to travel next week, don't call right now. Wait a few days. There's so many people scrambling from Europe who are trying to get back.
They're busy.
So just you can't get through to them. Just let these people, let the emergencies go through first, and then you call.
Here's the thing I know, and it always inspires me. When crises happen, people stand up for each other. We take care of each other, and we're going to do that now, and everybody's going to do that. So think about your fellow man, your fellow woman, and be nice because we're all in this together.
Sure. I'm worried about my dad.
Yeah, I know. I'm worried about my folks too.
Senior homes.
Yeah. Well, one hopes now that he's kind of safe there because they're going to keep it clean. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad my mom and dad are at home. But I would figure if you're in a nursing home now, they're going to be very vigilant after what happened in Seattle, right?
Well, the government today said they're going to stop visits that are social. They're going to stop communal dining.
Yeah,
my dad's going to go nuts because that's
the sad thing. I know.
Socialized.
Those poor people are going to be so isolated. They're in solitary now.
He can barely hear, can't barely see, and that's what he looks forward to, going to dinner with his buddies every night. So it's a difficult time.
But don't forget, thank God there's Skype and FaceTime.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have.
He's listening right now. He's listening on Amazon.
What's his name?
Frank.
Hey, Frank. Oh man. So yeah, that's one solution. We have way. I mean, that's why. I mean, I want to just podcast 24/7, keep the stream going. We can keep each other company.
Yeah.
Because we do. Thank goodness. Imagine what this would be like if we didn't have the internet.
Correct. So by the way, how's this sound? Because this setup is what I've been using for TV. The microphone's up a little bit.
Yeah, because for me, I want to see put that mic much closer to your face. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
That's so much better. And I know
I should have asked you this before. I
know TV that says, "Oh, we don't want to see any microphones." Well, I think good audio is better than anything else. It's okay. It's fine for TV. They have terrible standards for audio. But for me, put it in your face.
Well, I've been learning how to do this shot. I have my laptop.
It's a great shot
on a 6-inch or 8-inch book, basically, and I have the microphone just above.
It's a great shot.
So anyway, they spend some time with me on setting it up.
Good. Yeah, they like this. I think it's a good looking shot. Yeah. And so for us, I just wanted the microphone in there. TV people go, "What is that big thing in your face?" That's called a microphone. It's how you're hearing me. But it was fine, but it was like this. You're a little bit off mic, so it sounds like this.
I see.
Which is fine for TV because they have no standards. But we have standards. Well, and honestly, I think I could see you just as well. And I know there's a microphone in the world. I like this look. To me, but maybe it's just me, but I feel like it's Edward R. Murrow. It's like it's fun. See the mic.
All right, good. Well,
but for TV, you do whatever they tell you.
I'm with you.
Because you do sound better. Well, this sounds much better.
On TV, hopefully you look better.
That's right. That's all they care about. Most TV executives, I learned this early on, watch with the sound off. That's why all they ever talk about is your hair. Seriously.
I'm surprised they have me on because I have no hair.
No, they can handle that. But honestly, this is why TV sucks. Because they're watching without the sound. It's all about the pictures.
All right. Well, you have a great week.
All right.
And,
thanks, Johnny.
Hopefully the world will be more saner next week.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
Stay safe. Bye-bye. I do need the headphones because that's how I hear your calls. I mean, I can wear in-ears, and I do. I guess I could wear these. These are more comfortable. And again, it's radio. Every radio host I know, well, not actually, that's not true. In every studio, they use these AKGs. A lot of radio hosts use the worst headphones. Bill Handel used to have a plastic box that would hang off his ear. It was the worst. I like headphones. These are very comfortable. Yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to use Studio B, or I think I can for the round table. It's just as sanitary there. The nearest person is 30 feet away. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. We're talking high tech. 8888. Ask Leo. Website is techguylabs.com. If you hear something and you want a link or whatever, you can find it all there. Line 3, Jerry, Hatfield, PA. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Leo, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, not YouTube TV, but videos.
Yeah.
And I like to do it on my Samsung Smart TV. The trouble is the browser in the TV, it can no longer...
Don't do it in the browser. That's the worst. Don't they have a YouTube app? Almost everything has a YouTube app. Now, I know you're not talking about TV. You're talking about YouTube.
Well, I don't know. I get the notice that they're no longer going to support the browser. I don't know if it's
don't use the browser. I know the browser's terrible. It's the worst way to watch YouTube.
Absolutely. And there's a site called SAMY Go, Sammy Go, and they publish ways to update your browser, but my model's not included in there. So and I sent I left a message, but they never got back to me. Now, does Samsung act as a gateway to the internet for the TV?
Does it go through Samsung servers? That's an interesting question. We were just talking about this with Scott Wilkinson. I generally don't like, and this is exactly the reason why, using the apps on a smart TV. They're usually behind the times. You don't know if Samsung, in fact, it's almost certain Samsung's watching what you do on it, whether it goes through Samsung or not. We know most smart TVs are monitoring what you're watching and sending it back to the home office. So the way I like to use a smart TV is not to connect the TV to the internet at all. Maybe connect it every 6 months to see if there's an update. But I don't use the apps. I don't use the smart. If I could buy a TV without the smart, I would. You can't. Everybody has smart. There are a few, but almost all of them are smart. But I don't think it's that smart. Smart TV is pretty dumb. So I connect a Roku or an Apple TV or an Amazon Fire TV or a Google Shield Android TV. I connect a box. That's connected to the internet. That usually is more up to date. You can get a Roku or a Fire TV sticks are cheap. Plug it into the HDMI port. That's what's connected to the internet, not the TV. So then Samsung can't spy on you. And they all have a YouTube app. I know that Samsung took the YouTube app off their TV, probably in some dispute with Google. But there are ways, if you Google it, that you can get it from somewhere and download it. But my recommendation would instead be, just because you want the most up-to-date apps. Same with Netflix. Same with all the apps that you use. It's so much better to use it on a Roku or an Amazon Fire. My first choice is Roku.
My TV does have a dark spot, and I'm not opposed to buying another TV.
Might be time to get another TV, yeah.
What would you recommend if, as far as I want to update the browser on the damn thing?
You really want to use this browser, don't you?
Well, it's convenient.
Okay. I mean, honestly, there are ways to use a laptop and a browser, which will be much more up-to-date, much safer, much better, and then have it go to your TV so you can see your laptop screen on the TV. Chrome will do that with a Chromecast.
Okay.
That would be a better way to do it. Go out and get a Google Chromecast device, the $35, and then, do you have a laptop? Or a phone?
I do.
You could use the browser there, which is more up-to-date, more secure, more reliable, will play YouTube, and you can cast that browser to the TV using Google Chrome and a Chromecast, so your TV's showing what you're seeing on your laptop. That's probably the best way
Leo,
to do it.
if I go to questionable sites like Pornhub.
Yeah, Samsung knows you're going there.
Well, my question is, the reason I'm using the TV is so they can't affect my my hard drive or my computer.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You want because if the site has malware on it, then it would only infect your TV.
Yeah,
but it's less likely to affect your TV because most malware is not really targeting television sets.
Well, that's why I use TV.
now I'm. It's an interesting conundrum. I think that there are ways to go see sketch sites that might have malware on them, on your computer. I understand why you kind of want to keep that off the computer. Well, if you get a new TV, all the new TVs, including the new Samsungs, will have up-to-date browsers. The problem is it's going to happen again in a few years. They're not going to update it anymore.
That sucks.
Yeah. So that's why, I mean, it's better on a computer. I'm trying to think. Yeah, see, Roku, best way to do that, if you want to use a browser, is to use Chromecast. Do it in incognito mode. Make sure you, let's see, how could you stay safe if you're going to sketchy sites? That's an interesting question. I think my general advice hasn't changed, which is keep your computer up to date, because as long as your browser, and this is why your Samsung TV is really not a good way to do this. As long as your browser is up to date and kept up to date, your operating system is up to date, anything that is running on your computer that can connect to the internet is kept up to date, any flaws in those that bad guys use will be fixed, and they should be fixed on a regular basis. Then, in order to get you to compromise your system, they'd have to trick you into running a program. They do that, though. They'll pop up something saying, oh, your Flash is out of date. So now you need to download Flash, except it isn't Flash. It's malware. But that at least you can kind of be, use your noggin and say, well, wait a minute. They're trying to get me to run a program. Now it's a challenge. That's a good question. What would be a safe way to go to sketchy sites on your big screen TV? I don't know. I am actually, I generally say don't go to sketchy sites. So now you're challenging me. If I were going to do it, I would get a Chromebook just for this purpose, right? And they're cheap enough. You could, just for this purpose, don't do anything else on it. Chromebooks are inherently more secure. They're not Windows. They're not Macintosh. They're a limited system, so they're much harder to hack. And if they do get hacked, it's easy to do something they call power wash, which resets it back to normal. Use the Chromebook. That will work with Chromecast. So get a little $35 Chromecast dongle. You plug into TV. Have Chromebook be your I'm going to visit a sketchy site device, and only use it for that. If I were going to do it, that's how I would do it. And then you're going to be pretty safe. You're going to be pretty safe because any of the malware that any of these sites has, they're looking for Windows. 99% for Windows, maybe a little bit for Mac. They're not trying to hack your Chromebook. They can't. It's too hard to do. They just don't bother. And people with Chromebooks don't have anything important anyway. There's nothing they could do. So that's what I would do. I would get a Chromebook. You can go to the Best Buy or any big box store. They're a couple $100. The nice thing about that is it will be automatically up to date. Google keeps Chrome up to date. And while you're getting that, and you might even get a deal on a Chromecast if you go to Google's store.google.com, and get a Chromecast that plugs into your TV. Now you're safe. Of course, you want to put your dongle away before anybody comes to visit because, But other than that, I think you're okay. I'm just trying to think. There's other ways to do this. There are operating systems. Cubes comes to mind, Qubes. It's a specially designed Linux where everything is sandboxed, isolated, so your browser is kept in an isolated box and it can't impact the rest of the system. But that's hard and complicated. I think a Chromebook is the way to do this. So I like Chromebooks. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536. It's been an interesting day. People are planning for a long stretch at home, I think. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk about computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, and all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number, 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Let's talk high tech. Line 2, Jim, Los Angeles. Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I have a Motorola IHF-1000. It's a car kit for Bluetooth.
Okay.
And for some reason, my iPhone 6 paired up to it very easily, and now I have an iPhone 8 and it won't pair.
Yeah, occasionally this happens. I don't know why. That's that IHF-1000's older device.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even had calls from people who said, my car, I got a new car and I can't pair it, or I have an old car and a new phone and I can't pair it. I think Bluetooth's a standard, but apparently there are incompatibilities. So an older Bluetooth kit, unless there's an update for it, and of course I don't know how you would update it, but I would check with Motorola to see if there is an update for it. It may just be incompatible. I don't know why that is. Seems
I was under the impression that Bluetooth is Bluetooth and that everything can hook up to one another.
Well, there are different Bluetooth profiles, but But yours uses the A2DP stereo profile, which the iPhone 8 does support, so that shouldn't be the issue. I just don't know. I've heard of this happening before, and I don't know what the fix is, except to get a more up-to-date Bluetooth unit. But that's you put that in. Is it actually built into the car, or is it just sitting on the dash?
No, it's built into the car, but I can go ahead and change it to a more, a newer model. The thing that I think is interesting is that I've tried everything that you can do. I've turned the phone off, turned the Bluetooth off. I've even taken the other cars that it's paired to on my phone off, and nothing seems to work.
I'm looking at the spec sheet for the IHF 1000. It says, compatible with many Bluetooth 1.1 compliant devices. Not all, many.
Yeah.
And since it was made before the iPhone 8 came out, I'm guessing that's not one of the many.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right, I appreciate
your time. Yeah, I don't know of any fix for that. And, the same thing happened. Car manufacturer, a guy was having the same problem. Went to the car manufacturer. They said, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Dr. Mom's saying make sure you only have 1 or 2 Bluetooth devices connected at that time. That may be a limitation of that device. I would say make sure nothing's connected before you try to pair it. Maybe you've got too many phones paired with it already. I know that's one thing you do have to often do. Certainly any car I've had, I don't know why. I guess they don't want to dedicate too much memory to it, but you have a limited number of devices you can pair. You have to forget a device before you can pair a new one. You might want to make sure you've forgotten all the old devices. But it is. I guess the answer is it is possible that you can have an incompatible Bluetooth device that won't work with a more modern phone. That is possible. It happens. Frank in Durango, Colorado. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Frank.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. I have a real low-tech question. Right now, for budgetary reasons, I'm going to have to drop my dish program, and I've got the Hopper, and so...
that was such a great device, wasn't it? You could skip ads and
phenomenal.
Just love
phenomenal.
That. Yeah,
it changes the way you watch television.
It was, I think, the best DVR, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here's my question. I have my main television is a Fire TV. The other 2 are not smart TVs.
Right.
And I was wondering, I have Hulu right now. I'm thinking about getting YouTube TV. So if I get a Roku for both of those other televisions, can I set it up to where I can still feed off my internet and get televisions I'd like to have?
That's actually my preferred way of doing it. If you're willing to pay the $50 a month for YouTube TV, you get all your locals. You get many additional channels. It's, as far as I'm concerned, as good as any basic cable, and it's price comparable to that. And then you can add a la carte the stuff you like, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime, whatever. I think that's the best way to go, to be honest with you.
Super.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. Is there a digital recorder on the market that will even come close to what the Hopper does?
No. I mean, there are others. There's the HD Home Run, and there's the, TiVo. But honestly, Hopper was pretty amazing. I would say TiVo's the closest. But, with your YouTube TV, it has DVR built in. In fact, 6 people can have their own DVRs. It stores it not locally, but a YouTube server. So... to me, that's a great DVR out there. I mean, honestly, the only thing it doesn't do is skip commercials.
Okay.
But because you can scrub through something, you can relatively easily jump ahead. I have cable and TiVos, and I often use the YouTube TV to DVR something.
Okay, cool.
That's how I DVR'd the Super Bowl because honestly, I thought it was great. I'm very happy with YouTube TV.
Super, that's great. Last question.
Yes.
You mentioned when you were talking to the priest, you mentioned a box that sold for $500, and you said would have up to 4 different cabinets.
Yeah, if you want a little mini TV studio, this is really cool. It comes from Black Magic, which is very well known for their television cameras, not television, just general video cameras, high-end stuff. And they have a line of switchers. So that's what they use in broadcasting, ready 1, take 1, ready 2, take 1. They use switchers, and they call it their line the ATEM, A-T-E-M line. The new ATEM Mini, relatively new ATEM Mini, just came out. It's about $500. 4 HDMI inputs, 2 mic inputs, or you can have USB in, and and then it outputs to a computer. It is a really clever little device. It even has some special stuff. What are you going to do?
Well, I'm a pastor, and we have a really small church down here in Southwest Colorado. And about a year ago, I started live streaming my messages. And this is the goofy thing, is usually by the time my service is through live, I've got more people listening to the service on the internet than I do that came to.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that awesome?
It's unbelievable.
What a great way to reach out to the community. And nowadays, because of YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, there's all these ways to stream for free. That used to be the big cost, was the bandwidth cost. That costs you nothing.
All I use is my iPhone 10. That's all I do. I put it on the stand, and I even use. We don't have any money, so I haven't figured out a way to get the sound, other than just what comes over the speakers.
But people still love it.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? I think it's a wonderful way for outreach. So yeah, a lot of churches, as I mentioned to the priest, a lot of churches use the TriCaster device, but that can be expensive, thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
The ATEM makes it possible to do very low cost television quality production. I think it's and you can control it with an iPad or a computer. They have software. I will look into it. Yeah, it also has switches on it, so you can do it just like the old school, ready one, take one. Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. Where's your church?
In a little town on the Southern Ute Reservation called First Baptist Church.
Oh, that's neat.
It's right there in Ignacio, Colorado, and it's kind of a microcosm of the community because we do have Native Americans attending. We have 2 different tribes that are represented. We have people from Spanish backgrounds, white people. We have the occasional black people that come. It's a lot of fun, and God's really blessing it.
Sounds like a wonderful fellowship. I think that's fantastic. Well done. Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Great to talk to you. We need people like you in times like this, right? And I think the idea of streaming when people are maybe a little nervous about gathering at church is such a great way to make that available. I think that's great.
Absolutely. You reach people where they hurt.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well done. Bravo.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Frank. Take care. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, techguylabs.com. We'll put a link to the Blackmagic ATEM Mini up on Tech Guy Labs. I have one. I don't really need one because we've got this big studio, but my idea was I could set up a little mini satellite studio anywhere. Because it's so little and portable. Throw it in a suitcase, a couple of video cameras, some microphones, and you've literally got a TV studio you can take anywhere. Fit it in a suitcase. Somebody in the chat room said, "This miracle today brought to you by God and LastPass." Yes, here we are in our LastPass hermetically sealed studios. I feel like I should just move in here, put a little sleeping bag. They could push food through the door. I feel like this is my home, our LastPass studios. We really appreciate LastPass's support. And I tell you what, I appreciate what LastPass does for me and has done for the last 10 years. It's the ultimate password manager. I don't have to remember my passwords. I don't have to make up my passwords. I get good, long, strong, unique passwords for every single site, every single app, and LastPass keeps track of them in such a secure way, I don't ever have to worry about it leaking out. Only I can unlock my password vault. In fact, it's so secure, I treat it as my secure enclave for everything. Passports, before I travel, they go into LastPass. Driver's license, social security numbers, everything that I want to keep secure and private but never want to lose, that's stored in LastPass. And in business, you got to have LastPass because you may know what you're doing with passwords, but I guarantee you your employees don't care. They share passwords. They use the same password over and over. With LastPass, you can secure every access point in your business without impacting productivity. Multiple solutions for businesses. LastPass Identity unifies password management, single sign-on, and biometric multi-factor authentication. One solution that does it all. And because it's easy to use, your employees are more likely to use it, keeping you more secure. You could set policies so that they can't use a bad password that they have to use two-factor. That's what we do here. We use it here. Single sign-on. Boy, employees love that. So easy, so fast. Increased security does not have to be complex. LastPass makes identity and access management simple for IT to manage, easy for employees to use. Start your journey today by visiting lastpass.com/twit to find out how they can help you. lastpass.com/twit. Thank you, LastPass, making the tech guy possible and keeping us secure. Lady Laura, man. 8888 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Joseph on the line from Riverside, California. Hey, Joseph.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome. What can I do for you?
I just got a simple question about what kind of computer would you recommend, a laptop for just internet browsing, email, and taking the information off my phone, like the photos and videos?
Okay, I'll give you a couple of choices. For most people, if you want a simple laptop that's not going to cost a lot of money, it's not going to be a security issue, I strongly think Chromebooks are the best choice. They're very limited, but that's what makes them more secure. But everything you just described, they will do, with one little exception, which is the photos, and I'll explain how that should work with the Chromebook. So the Chromebook is just the Google Chrome browser. If you can't get a bug, you can't get a virus, you can't get hacked. If anything goes wrong, it has a routine called Power Wash. It resets it. You store your data. Most of your data is stored on the Google Cloud, so you don't even have to worry about backup. And it's fairly inexpensive. Chromebooks start anywhere from $200 to $300. A good Chromebook should be about $500 or $600. There are a lot of good ones. Samsung makes an excellent one. That's probably the one I would recommend, is a Samsung Chromebook. Now, the photos thing is the one little thing. You browse, email, all that stuff just fine on a Chromebook. But the photo thing is the one little thing. But what I recommend anyway people do is put Google Photos, the app, free app, on your phone, iPhone or Android, and let it back up your photos. It does that automatically. The only catch on an iPhone, you have to open it once in a while because Apple doesn't let it run in the background. But you open it, it'll back up your photos, and then they are immediately available on your Chromebook by going to photos.google.com. You can download them, edit them, share them on the Chromebook. That's, in a way, the best of both worlds, because you have your phone is automatically backing up all the time. You don't have to connect it or anything, and you get all the photos are available. And there's no charge to that, by the way. That is a free service from Google. Now, some people are worried about privacy with Google. If you are, then maybe you don't want to use Chromebook. It's hard for me to recommend Windows these days. People, I think, for years have bought Windows just because it's the thing to do. Everybody has it. For a long time, it was your only choice. In my opinion, Windows is really designed for use in business where you have an IT department. You have somebody who can lock it down, somebody who can keep it running. Unless, if you buy it at home, you're the IT department. And it requires a certain amount of skill and attention to keep Windows running reliably. And I'll be honest, I think Microsoft has lost interest in keeping Windows reliable. The last few updates they've pushed out have caused horrific problems for people, even down to losing their data. So it's hard for me to recommend Windows. I know a lot of people like it. If you want to get a Windows laptop, Dell, HP, and Lenovo make the best. They're good, and you can do all of that stuff too. Any general-purpose operating system, Mac or Windows, even Linux, will do all of that. But I think for security, unless you have a reason, if you're editing video or photos, as a professional, launching rocket ships, designing movie sets, I think a Chromebook. For everybody else, a Chromebook is a good choice.
All right, great.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Give me a chance to plug that one more time. I tell you why I'm so adamant about this, because I'm the guy people call when they lose their data or things aren't working right and so forth. And there's so much pain associated with Windows. Now, I can use Windows, and I use it safely and without difficulty. I know a lot of geeks who do. But, we're willing to be our own IT department. That's what I do. So for me, it's not a problem. But I think, boy, I wouldn't tell anybody in my family to use Windows. unless they absolutely had to. Macintosh is a pretty good choice. It's still complex, and it's still not fully secure. It's better than Windows, but not 100%. The problem really is general purpose operating systems. That is, computers designed to do anything, can do anything, including run malware. And so there's this inherent, with great power comes great risk. So there's this inherent tension. Unless you need something much more capable, I think a Chromebook is a great choice. If you don't want to do Google, you're worried about privacy, an iPad, an Apple iPad, not as capable, but still pretty good. And an iPad would do everything that you described. It would let you surf the net, check email. You could copy your photos to it. You could put Google Photos on it and use that, but you can also use Apple's own Photos service. That works great. iPads are much more reliable, much more secure, and Apple keeps them private. I trust Apple pretty much to protect your privacy. That's become their business, so I think they're pretty reliable for that. So if a Chromebook doesn't appeal, an iPad, and you can get a keyboard with an iPad. It's a little pricey, but you can get a keyboard, $125, an iPad for $329 to $500. And then it's kind of like a laptop. Chromebook is more like a real operating system with the menu and the kind of things you might be used to. Honestly, I think for most people, an iPad's plenty. My mom, I've given my mom every computer under the sun. She used to run Windows 2000. But even though she has all of that, including a very nice iMac, she's very happy to use the iPad. She's extreme. That does it for her. She has a MacBook. She has all kinds of stuff, but she likes the iPad. And I think for most people, that's probably all you need. There are some limited editing features you can do on a Chromebook. Basically, anything you can do with an extension. People also now can run Android apps on Chromebooks. I do not recommend that. That's where I think Google went a little too far in adding power, and then there's security issues. So I would not use the Android store on a Chromebook. For best results, stick with the Chrome OS and Chrome. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, I don't know where Lisa took this. I can't tell. Looks like it might be Target. But that is the toilet paper towel. It's like, why is there, what are you worried about? Toilet paper? Really? This is temporarily out of stock from the manufacturer. Yeah. That's just wild. It's just a mental thing, right? It's a security thing. Maybe it's Walgreens, yeah, could be. No, that's the TP aisle. Oh, yeah, me too, right? Old, diabetic, what else, right? You got to stay home. I've been very, people think I'm maybe going overboard, but I canceled my massages. I canceled the gym. I had to tell my trainer, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to see you for a while. But we have a gym at home. I don't really need the gym. We have plenty of gear at home. I canceled. I got a haircut on Thursday. I said, well, I'm not going to make another appointment. See you in a few months. I'm staying in my office, sealing my office and saying nobody can enter or exit. I'm going to lock it behind me. There's two things. I don't want to get sick because I am a little more. I'm healthy. I'll probably be fine, but I don't want to get sick. And I also don't want to get people sick. I think social distancing is a way to tamp it down. So that's what I'm doing. The problem is it's kind of hard because, like yesterday, Michael has his Friday night boys' night where 5 teenage boys came over. So I don't know. Baking is good. Cooking is good. Watching a lot of TV, programming. I honestly like to stay home. No, we did. We were at the RSA party. That was a few weeks ago, though, when neither of us are symptomatic. And I have been taking my temperature every day and taking Lisa's temperature. Do you think that's worthwhile, Dr. Mom? Does your temperature, is that an early warning sign? I know the dry cough, but I've been taking my temperature. We have an instant read thermometer, so it's an easy thing to do. I've been taking Michael's, and Lisa's temperature every day. And we're all normal. Hey, super good. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. He's got soul, and he's super bad. Tom in Los Angeles. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Leo, let me get off this. There we go.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of two things. And the first one, I'd like to make a comment about the Internet and this crisis and all that.
Yes.
With everybody saying work at home, what's going to happen to the Internet?
Well, that's a good question. You know, this is a real test. For a long time, the Internet service providers have said, oh, we have to have bandwidth caps because people will just go crazy. Many of them are eliminating, as they should, bandwidth caps with people working at home. My guess is it's going to work just fine. We have a lot of overcapacity. And I don't think there's any crisis in Internet bandwidth. This will be a good test of it. And by the way, it's going to be very hard for them to then say, oh, we got to put the caps back on, because they didn't really need them in the first place. I've always thought it was just a way of getting more money out of us.
I'd like to make a suggestion.
Yeah.
That now this, I know you don't like to get political here, and I don't really want to get political, but I'd like to hear one of the candidates come up and say, I want to make America great again. I want us to have the best Internet at the lowest price
I agree.
in the entire world.
Honestly, one of the things you're seeing, one of the problems in our system that you're seeing that this is exposing is the gap between people who have the Internet and people who don't. If you have the Internet, you're not as disconnected. I mean, imagine doing this without the Internet. Many information workers can work at home just fine. Some people have to come to work or will be out of work, and that's tragic. But what about the students who are sent home from school who don't have a computer and the Internet at home? And that is, I think, a national disgrace in a country like ours. It's not only rich, but invented this thing. So I agree with you. It's sad to say a number of the no longer running for president candidates had universal Internet plans, including Elizabeth Warren. I don't know what the current crop of candidates, whether Joseph Biden or Bernie, have Internet plans. They ought to. Elizabeth Warren had an excellent broadband plan. I was 100% behind. Maybe we can convince whoever runs for president to adopt it. I think that's a very important thing. And what's going to happen, I think, from this is we're really going to see where the cracks are. I think the Internet can handle it. We've got a lot of capacity. We have far more capacity than we need. Companies that sell Internet have been artificially constraining it to keep prices up. We have the potential to have the best Internet in the world. We have the worst Internet among the top 20 developed nations. It's terrible.
Exactly. And when you get all these people, and they're not going to be just, looking at Amazon or something, they're going to be doing video conferencing. They're
going to be buying things. They're going to be participating in the national conversation. This is so important. We shall see. I'm not completely thrilled with the people who are still running. Joseph Biden, unfortunately, has said some things that are very anti-internet. But you know what? This is how it works in this country. So we got to go along with the flow. You're right. I don't want to get too political either. There's too much political talk on the radio, and I want to be an oasis from all that. But it is relevant to technology. It is. We need good, strong, universal internet, just as we have universal power. And there's precedent for it. I've mentioned this before, but that's what happened during the Depression. FDR created the WPA, the Tennessee Valley Authority, and the TVA brought electricity to rural areas that wouldn't have had it otherwise. You can't count on private enterprise to spend money where they're not going to make the money back. That's up to government.
Well, back in the day, AT&T was a wonderful company.
Yeah, I remember those days.
We used to have the best telecommunications in the world. We don't anymore.
No, it's sad.
Anyway, a completely different subject.
Yeah.
Have you heard of anybody that's been able to update a virtual Win 7 machine to Win 10?
Oh, that's interesting. So it's running in a virtual machine?
I'm running Fusion on
a Mac. Yeah. I could see no reason why it shouldn't. What you would do is download the ISO for Windows 10 from Microsoft's site, and then run your VM and install it.
Keeps crashing on me.
It does.
And I even went all the way. I went back to an original before I'd even installed apps.
That's interesting. I wonder.
The virtual.
You're running on a Mac? Can you do it as a boot camp Windows 7?
Haven't tried that.
So one of the things Fusion will do, Parallels does this as well, is if you have a boot camp installation, it will use that for the VM. In other words, it won't put a whole nother Windows install on your computer. It'll say, oh, you already got Windows installed, so we'll have a much smaller virtual machine running when you're running the Mac OS. And the way Boot Camp works, of course, at boot time, you say, I'm going to run Windows, I'm going to run Mac. If you did that, for sure, you could upgrade it.
Okay.
Because it'd be running on the bare metal. It wouldn't be running in a virtual machine. You'd be running Windows.
Okay.
What that's going to require, of course, I presume you have a serial number for Windows 7. That's why you're running it, right? So what that's going to you're going to require running Boot Camp, which will repartition or move your partitions a little bit to make room for Windows. You don't have to make a big install. Probably 10 or 20 gigabytes would be enough. And then install Windows 7 using Boot Camp. And now you're running it standalone. Absolutely, that should work.
Okay. Okay, that's a good idea.
It may be that Microsoft is smart enough. The VMs are a little different, so maybe there's somehow something going on there. I've not heard of anybody doing it. You're right.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you very much, and let's see if we can get
Internet for all. I agree. This is going to bring that issue to light. Because
I'm worried. I'm worried because you have great internet,
right?
Because at home you have great internet, and sometimes that gives you faulty ideas about how the rest of us
It's
work.
not true. And I know because I talk to people all the time who live in rural areas who can afford it even, but can't get it.
Well, I'm even talking about the level of I had DSL, and when Ring was a sponsor, you had Ring, and I bought a Ring.
It wasn't fast enough for the Ring doorbell.
Wouldn't work with a damn. It took me.
How frustrating.
Their customer support was wonderful, and they stayed on the phone, but nobody for hours of time spent with them said, "Oh, you have to have more than gigabit."
You're sending video. It takes a megabit. Yeah, a couple of megabits. So this is
what DSL has that.
This is a problem because the FCC has allowed these companies monopolies, or in best case, duopolies. And you know that no monopoly is going to work to give you the best service at the lowest costs. That's just not what that's just not what they do. So we got to work on this because we deserve better internet, and this is where the cracks are going to start to show when people are trying to work from home. They're trying to participate in. We've got a big election coming up. They want to participate. They want to learn. They want to get news. More and more people are getting news, not from the television or the radio. They're getting it from the internet. They're participating in the national conversation on the internet. They're buying things on the internet. Having high-speed quality internet is rapidly switching from a luxury to a necessity. And honestly, if you want the country to do well, if you want economies to do well, every city knows this, you need high-speed internet. It's good for business, it's good for the economy, and it's the way America's going. Hey, one more quick ad, and then we're going to get it ready for the fabulous GizWiz. But I got to tell you something. If there is a better kind of mobile carrier these days, it's called Mint Mobile. It's what we call an MVNO. You're getting T-Mobile service from Mint Mobile, but you're getting it at a ridiculously low price, an unbelievably low price, as little as $15 a month for unlimited nationwide text, unlimited nationwide talk, and 3 gigabytes a month of data. I liked it so much, I said, well, what else can I get? They said, well, our top-of-the-line plan unlimited nationwide talk and text, and 12 gigabytes of data. I'll never use all that. 12 gigabytes of data. That'll set you back, stand back, get ready, $25 a month. What are you paying for your phone plan? $25 a month. I bought a year, $300, $25 a month, and I never worry about data. I have unlimited nationwide text and talk, and it's on the T-Mobile network. This is Mint Mobile. How can they do it? They don't have retail stores. They don't. It's a simple operation, and it's owned by what's his Deadpool. So it. Mint Mobile is actually awesome. They'll send you the SIM, no charge. You can put it in your existing phone. You can port your number over, no charge. It's easy to do. And then you're just going to pay a lot less for the same service, 4G, LTE, the same service you're getting from the big guys for a fraction of the cost. They have 3 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, or 12 gigabyte plans. You can buy phones from them, but you probably have a phone you could use. Just put the SIM in and you're good to go. Ditch your old wireless bill. Start saving with Mint Mobile. It's awesome. I've been using it for, gosh, it's going to be a year pretty soon. And I can't, it's like, why was I paying more? To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan and get the plan shipped to your door free, go to mintmobile.com/techguy. Mintmobile.com/techguy. You're going to love it with the Fox. I've been looking at their Fox logo for a long time. And I just realized with the glasses, it actually looks like their owner. What's his name? Ryan? What's his name? I can't, it's escaped me. Ryan Reynolds. Their minty fresh owner. I think that Fox is Ryan Reynolds. All this time, I didn't even know it. You cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with their 3-month introductory plan. MintMobile.com/TechGuy. Thank you, Mint Mobile, for great service, for supporting the podcast, making the Tech Guy podcast possible. And thank you for supporting us by using that special address, MintMobile.com/TechGuy. Hello, Dickie D.
Leo, how you doing, pal?
Are you sheltering in place, Ricardo?
I am. I have a piece of plywood between Maya and myself.
You never went out anyway, did you? Well, you went to the boat basin and stuff.
Yeah,
went
no,
to the
I used to go to a disco once a week and out for dinner once a week.
So you're cutting back on
and
that?
to the gym. Yeah, we stopped going to the gym.
Me too. I just stopped going. But I have I have a Peloton. I did that yesterday. That's great exercise. I have a treadmill, rowing machine. We have some free weights and stuff. That's all I need. I can do everything I need. We even get those TRX things, you hang from, you do the... So I've got...
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I got a little gym. So I don't need to go there.
Wow. And shopping? No one's raiding the stores out there?
Well, I bought... Oh, yeah. Did I show you? This is the video Lisa sent me of Walgreens. Oh, my God. It's crazy.
Oh my!
That's the toilet paper aisle at our local Walgreens. Empty.
Wow.
But who needs toilet paper when you've got Dick DeBartolo, Mad's maddest writer, and the Gizwiz? Hello.
Exactly.
Hello, Dickie D. That was not a good compliment. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's okay. I thought you were talking about my old scripts, and I was going to take offense. But
Dick has written so many great parodies. He's the parody guy at Mad Magazine for 50-plus years. I mean, you've all read them. I mean, he's brilliant. Like, what was the Upside Down Adventure?
Oh, Poopside Down.
Poopside Down.
Yeah, that
classic. Classic. But Dick is also, maybe people didn't know this, that just a rabid Gizmo fan. We call him our Gizmo Wizard or Gizwiz. And every week he joins us with a gizmo or a wizard. What do you got?
Okay, well, this is more in your line. So last week you did not run out and buy the $800 coffee pot.
I did not.
Okay, so I met this lady at an event called Inspired Home Preview, which was great because Inspired Home is supposed to be on now in Chicago, but got canceled.
No, I bet not, yeah.
So she invented something called Cabinet Caddy. Now, this is a way to use these little cabinet sliders for not only spices. First of all, they're bigger than normal spice racks, which you'll find if you buy a spice that's taller than most spice racks.
Oh, that's such a problem. There's no standard size for spice.
Exactly. So she made these 30% bigger, but you can use them for, like in the workshop, for screws and nails and jars.
Oh, I'm going to get some of these.
And for the medicine cabinet.
Because nobody has enough room for all the spices.
No, but the thing is, Leo, they store side by side, but they're on a track. And then you slide them out and slide them forward so that...
so you can have millions of spices.
You can have... Well, the thing is, you can put medications on one of them, and you can.
And she's just some gal who said, "I think I got an idea."
She is a single mom who said, "You know what? I have so many things in cabinets. It was not working out for me. I think I'm going to develop my own little device or invention."
Oh, this is so clever.
It's very clever. It's very clever.
I'm looking at your video from the show. This is brilliant. So it's very compact, but you can see everything, and it slides back in. I want to support her. This is so good.
It comes with a stand, so it can be on a counter. They're $39.95, but on the website, I was just on the website now, and it said if you sign up for our mailing, you get 25% off your very first order. And they're, I believe, at least on Amazon, they're cheaper as you, like if you buy 3, it drops down to $30, $29.99.
This is, I think one thing people could do now that they're spending a lot more time at home, this is an opportunity to kind of fix it up at home and get things that you've been putting up with for a long time, get them in order.
No, that's a great idea. I've been doing that. Yeah, I said to Dennis yesterday, you know what? We're not going to go to the gym. I'm going to scrub 2 rooms.
Exactly.
And wax them, and that'll be equal to my gym workout.
You know what's so funny? I said to Lisa, I am going to scrub my face and wax my legs. So it's kind of like we're on a wavelength.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. Well, your legs and my floor. What
shiny.
What a combination.
Shiny. Dick D. I'm getting a little punchy. Dick D. Too much time at home. Dick DeBartolo is our GizWiz. His website has all the information about the cabinet caddy, including a link. Gizwiz.biz, GIZWIZ.biz. Click the button that says the GizWiz visits the tech guy. You'll see other stuff too. He's on ABC World News now. And he also has the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine if you can figure out either the right answer or a clever wrong answer for what this close-up of a gizmo or gadget is. That's all at gizwiz.biz. And oh, by the way, don't forget his podcast. You're going to still do that with the Chad, right?
Oh, my gosh. Someone emailed me, said, are you stopping that because of the virus?
Why would you don't even...
Well, he said there are no shows to go to. I said, there's Amazon.
Oh, there's also Dick's Gadget Warehouse. Which is loaded with gadgets from days gone by.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to that weekly podcast, it's so much fun. I think nowadays, this is a great opportunity for entertaining podcasts like yours to really, because we've all listened to the news a lot. Now it's time to have some fun. And there's nothing better. Gizwiz.tv for the GizWiz podcast. You'll also find sanitized for your safety, great stuff on his website like GizWiz Garb Edge. That's hats and stuff. And then he also has his great book, Good Days and Mad, A History of Mad Magazine. And there are still some autographed copies of that left, I hear.
You are a kind man, sir. Thank you.
You'll wipe them down before you send them out.
Oh, I will. Perel, cover to cover.
I actually was reading an article that said, it's okay. It says, can I open my mail? Yes. It said, you can open your mail. It's safe.
Oh, my God.
But you know what? I understand it. It's like, well, I don't know. Yeah. What can I do? I don't know. It's all crazy out there. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy. I'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Oh, no, I'll stay around for the other thing.
Stay around for the other thing. Maybe I probably shouldn't mention this because I know a lot of you listening on the radio, but Dick does a show after the radio show on our podcast network called the Giz Fizz. And it's just this light entertainment. It's so much fun, and you're going to have fun. You do a contest, a caption contest with the chat room. You show a picture, and the chat room comes up with funny funny captions.
Yeah, it's the chat room. Your chat room is really wonderful.
They're very clever.
They are inventive, and some of them out of their minds, but that adds to the inventiveness.
A couple of weeks ago, you had the Yearn to Learn Theater. A couple of weeks ago, you had an old video from the 50s on what it's like to be a salesman, which I sent to my son, who thinks he wants to be a salesman.
That's very funny. That's very
hey, Henry,
funny. Yes.
Here's a little more information about that job you want.
Yes, and last week, Yearn to Learn was Meet Mr. Germ.
Oh.
And how to ignore him.
See how timely?
Yep. Even though the video was 45 or 60 years old.
It's pretty funny to see all those old videos. It's a lot of fun with commentary from Dick. And on the other side of the plywood partition, Myra. I'm glad you're keeping a good. Wait, there's her hand. Get your hand out of the shot, Myra.
She can't talk through the mask.
Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, take care, buddy.
Giz.biz. That's the place to go. Well, she's hermetically sealed in another room, but I thank Kim Schaffer for making her way to the studio, taking her life in her hands, and answering the phones. I thank Lady Laura. Lady Laura, are you also social distancing from everybody? There's no one ever in the building. She's our musical director. She's always alone on weekends, but that's good. That's a good thing. Thank you, Lady Laura. Good job today playing gloomy songs about the end of the world. Thanks most of all, though, to you for joining me. I appreciate it. We tried to keep the virus talk to a minimum. There's a little bit of it, but come back next time, and we're going to do just fun, happy, light things, because we need a little vacation, right? Have fun with your computer. Be glad you got it. Enjoy your technology. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great Geek Week. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Bye-bye. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.